Well, I think this is what it comes down to. And again, let's switch gears here. I think, again, the reason I went on the little Bogdan rant and this whole everything is just stop deluding. Celtics fans need to stop deluding themselves that there's some magic move here out there, okay? That Danny's going to maneuver his way out of this, and just accept that you still have, the core of Jalen and Jason with Kemba and Smart, and then a couple of pieces that you can count on with Thompson, Teague coming off the bench, and now you're really what it's going to come down to. You're going to place a lot of stock in what you're going to get out of Nesmith and Langford next year, because that's going to be the difference. Okay, if you have a legit scorer in Nesmith, and Langford develops and actually is something close to who you thought he might be when you drafted him, and is a viable, wing who can play legit minutes, score some buckets, play defense. His defense was actually surprisingly very good last year, and get a full healthy year out of him. If you can rotate these guys in as wings who can play roles on this team and give you some good bench minutes there, you're going to feel a lot better about things, because you're going to feel that you have some developmental guys who may or may not end up being stars, but can eat real minutes on this team. And maybe, again, we talk about supplementing where you've lost in other places, and you make gains other places. So you're looking at a little bit of development, a little more from Tatum and Brown without Hayward being there to just have the ball in their hands a little bit more. And you're looking at these guys to step it up a tad and be a little better, maybe a little more out of Rob Williams. And if everybody raises it up a little bit, you may be close to the same level you were last year. It's not going to excuse the fact that you could have done that plus had assets. The two things are mutually exclusive. You'd be counting on all of these guys to do these things and still have some assets in the trove here to do things with, an exception, whatever. So look, you're still okay if they pull off something with Charlotte and they have that money ready to pull a trigger on something down the road if they see fit. Yeah. You'll feel better about that. But this is the team. Get used to it and start rooting hard for Nesmith and Romeo to turn into something immediately.
And let's remember,
without that, your bench is awful. Okay, it's awful, and you have one injury. Like how many stretches did they survive without Gordon, without Jalen, without Smart, without whatever? You lose one of those guys, and you're like, all right.
You're thin at the win.
More minutes for this guy. You lose what? You lose Jalen for a stretch of 7 games, 8 games, 12 games. Friggin', I don't want to see who's playing there. So you need these guys to be passable very fast.
And let's remember, Langford's probably going to be out a month and a half to start this season. So he's not in the picture either. Yeah. They're thin. They're extremely thin to start this year. They bring back Semi Ojeleye yesterday, which is interesting. That probably factors into this flexibility I'm talking about.
Yeah, why is that interesting, Bobby? They have no one else. They need wing guys.
Well, there were guys out there. Of course
you bring back Semi.
And this is I didn't love the Jeff Teague move, because there were other ways to upgrade yourself on the wing, like a Torrey Craig or the likes who are out there. Kent Bazemore goes to Golden State. So I find it interesting that, that goes back to what we were talking about before. But I think everything they did puts into my mind that they're going to do something else at some point, because the picture here doesn't totally make sense right now. John's right. It's thin on the wing. You're pressing a ton of inexperienced players to come in and impact now. Nesmith in particular. Nesmith could end up starting on this team if you want to keep Marcus Smart on the bench.
I saw some people theorizing that today as well, too. I mean, it's a big leap to say that. You could show up.
Training camp is in 9 days.
I mean, this is like, usually we would hear this sort of fodder, after Summer League, but we don't even have that. People already
can't even overreact to Summer League.
I don't trust it. We don't even have Summer League. People losing.
No, you gotta start Smart, which is tough too. Now all of a sudden Jeff Teague's like your main guy off the bench. They're thin. They're extremely thin.
17 points a game with that second unit. They have nobody else in there.
Yeah. And he can play make too, which is good.
That's why I liked him. Is you need guys who just can get their shots. Okay, whether how efficient they are sometimes doesn't matter. What you can't have is Semi and Langford and these guys just getting rid of the ball fast because none of them wants to shoot it and just winging it around the perimeter for somebody to just jack a three. This clock goes down.
This makes the Nesmith pick look a little better too, doesn't it? We don't know for sure, but if he's a guy who can step right in and score right away, that's the kind of guy you needed on this team.
That's why the key, Romeo and Nesmith are the key to this being a functional team next year beyond what you got out of the starting five, which is still quality. So that's it. I mean, this is the name of the game, the wings here, and
yeah, I mean, like that's the biggest concern, right, guys? Like, what's a bigger concern than that? The wing position, in my opinion, secondary wing position.
That's why I would have used the mid-level on that instead of a big. I would have floated it with the bigs that they had and brought in a wing and seen if you could you could have gotten to.
Was there a wing out there good enough to?
Yeah, Montreal.
He's not coming to Boston, John. I know it would have been nice. Him and Marcus Smart together. I know. I feel you, bro.
I always look at the best player available, and the best player out of all the wings, all the bigs we were looking at was Thompson. So I'm fine with that. If you did a wing like I don't know Torrey Craig or whoever, it would have been better.
What's that?
Thompson. I'd say yes. Harrell's good. I've always liked him. He's an awful defender. He's a horrid defender. So that's something that the Lakers are gonna have to deal with.
If Thompson flops, Bobby, you're not gonna hear the end of it, man. I'm just saying.
I don't think it's possible.
I'm pulling for you, bro. I'm pulling for you.
He's not getting paid enough to flop. I just think he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. You're not.
Exactly. That's what I expect from him.
You're going to have the same vibe about
you
the
need
bigs.
fine.
Huh?
You need fine.
But you're going to have the
fine off the bench.
vibe about the bigs at the end of the year as you did the end of last year. Maybe a little bit, I think, better with Thompson. But you're not going to be like, oh, we're all set. Like this is it. I said Thompson's a matchup-specific guy.
I thought Thompson was such a pleasant surprise yesterday. I didn't think they were actually going to be in the running for him. I thought the LAs were going to step in. I thought Cleveland was going to fight hard to keep him. There's a reason yesterday that we were doom and gloom during the day. And then at night, it was like, all right, there's a little something here. He's still a great player. How old is he now? I don't think he's hit 30 yet. He's 29. Last year, he averages 12, 10, and 2. He's starting to hit threes now. He's 39% from 3. This guy is going to have you all bought in by the end of the year. And Jimmy's with me for once. Me and Jimmy are on the same team here for once. This guy's going to sell you too.
Thompson train.
All right.